Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show as we continue our journey of my entire record collection of about 5,800 albums. This is it, folks, the last video, at least of the letters. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. Pretty amazing journey. I can't believe we did this. So for all of you who've been watching and some who've actually watched all the videos, thank you for your dedication. It's actually been pretty fun for me. It's been an inventory comparing what I actually had compared to my database. I got to tell you something. It was spot on. There was only one thing missing. So kind of proud of my my database being so up to date. Letters X, Y, and Z is actually bigger than you might think. I got only 12 artists, but 138 albums. Kind of looks like this. So let's get started with the letter H. Letter X. That's the fastest one because I only got one. The band X, and I got the album Los Angeles. A lot of people swear by them. I picked it up because people said you got to get into X. This is the remastered edition with bonus material. I thought it was good. I did not think it was as great as a lot of people think it is, but I'm glad I have it, and I'll probably get more X over time. Y is going to start with, I know, beat me up, make fun of me. I got Yanni. Only got one. Live at the Acropolis, but I even have it on Laserdisc. And it actually is pretty great for what it is when you're in the mood, which is not all that often. But sometimes it's nice to chill out to Yanni, and that's the only one I got. Okay, next up is the Yardbirds. I have a great Yardbirds collection. Here's an Alan Rosenberg original. What does that mean? This means it goes back to my very first year of my collection where I started my database. 1973 was my ground zero. This was in it. The Yardbirds, featuring performances by Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page. I think this is a pretty valuable album. Mine is pretty beat up because I've been playing it since 1973. But not bad. A 10-year-old listening to this album. A great compilation of the Yardbirds on vinyl. Yep, that's an Alan Rosenberg original right there. But on CD, I got everything, all the original albums. Here is 5 Live Yardbirds right there, remastered on Fuel 2000 Records. And then For Your Love, these are beautiful editions. Got slews of bonus tracks, beautiful booklets. This is on Repertoire, the German label. Here is Having a Rave Up with the Yardbirds. Same thing. All of these are from Repertoire, a great German label, and they do a great job with bonus tracks, remastering, beautiful booklet. I love these Yardbirds albums. Here is the Yardbirds, otherwise known as Roger the Engineer, classic Yardbirds album. And then here's another version of it called Over Under Sideways Down, or Roger the Engineer. And this one is on Repertoire, you guessed it, with 10 bonus tracks. Again, if you could ever spot, Repertoire is a great label. They do a great job. Here is Little Games. And this is a big edition of it right there with the original album and bonus tracks and BBC sessions. Beautiful booklet, beautiful artwork. These Yardbird ones are great, as is this Yardbirds one, the BBC sessions. Again, Repertoire. They are killing it with these Yardbirds collections right there. And then a bootleg of Live at the Anderson Theater. This is the famous album that was going to be released, but Jimmy Page pulled it. This is the latter-day version with Jimmy Page. This is a live show. And then, probably best of all, is this one. Maybe all you need is the Ultimate Yardbirds. This is a 2-CD, what I call mini box. I don't really consider these boxes, but they kind of are. And it's got their whole history right there and comes with a really nice booklet, which if you want, I'll show you. Looks like this, and you get the idea. Really comprehensive, great booklet. Kind of proud of myself. I have 10 Yardbirds albums, and I love them. That is a really good collection and essential for you people who love rock and roll. Speaking of Repertoire, I forgot to show you. If you watch my Wishbone Ash video of my 96 Wishbone Ash albums, I forgot one, and it's from Repertoire, and it's this one called Distillation. This is a 4-CD box set, and this was like my favorite box set I owned up until that Archives Wishbone Ash. But I don't know if you could find this thing out there. It's 4 discs, 2 like that, 2 like that. good, decent booklet. You know, certainly at the time it was state of the art. Now it's not so state of the art. But they did a great selection of tracks. If you could find this thing out there and you want to get into Wishbone Ash, this is the one to do it on. It's their whole career up to that point, and it's a killer job. I forgot to show this when I did Wishbone Ash. Somebody said it that, didn't you have distillation? I'm like, yeah, can't believe I forgot it. Little side channel right there. All right, let's keep going. That was the Yardbirds. Who do you think in X, Y, and Z I have the most albums? Is it Yes? Is it somebody else? Well, next up is Yes, and I have a whopping 36 Yes albums. Let's get right to it. And these are really nice additions. This is the debut, Yes. And these are remastered with bonus tracks. You probably know all these. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. Here is Time of the Word with the original cover. Great cover. And again, remastered with bonus tracks. The third, the classic, the Yes album. Steve Howe joins the band. Damn Near Perfect album. You got it. Remastered with bonus tracks. Fragile, another classic right there. And there is remastered with bonus tracks. Got a slipcase as well. Nice. Gotta love the artwork, right? Here's Roger Dean for the first time. Next up, Close to the Edge. And again, remastered with bonus tracks. Of course, since I've gotten these, they have deluxe editions and super deluxe editions. But you can't go wrong with any of these. This is the greatest prog music of its time, for sure. One of my favorite live albums, even though the quality is of its time, is Yes Songs. And this is a remastered version on 2 discs. But I never, ever, ever got rid of my original Yes Songs, because this was my first Yes album. And they don't make packaging like this anymore. And this is like unbelievable, right? So I can never get rid of Yes Songs. I love this album. And as I've said, this is my most played Yes album to date. Came with a booklet in here. And I don't really listen to the vinyl. It's been played out. I have played these albums to death. But the CD, actually, the remastered one, is not terrible. All right, let's keep going. Tales from Topographic Oceans, one of my favorite album covers, and there is remastered with a couple of bonus tracks. Rick Wakeman leaves after that, and they bring in Patrick Moraz for a relayer, and here it is, remastered with bonus tracks. Rick Wakeman comes back for Going for the one of my favorite Yes albums. I think it's as good as any in the classic period. It's a tremendous album, I think, and remastered with bonus tracks. Then the Ups and Downs with Yes. They do Tomato, and remastered with bonus tracks. Then they put out another live one called Yes Shows. Interesting collection, and it's a double vinyl, 2 discs, and it's even got some Tales from Topographic Oceans on there. John Anderson, well, he goes bye-bye. They bring in the replacements for Drama. I remember when they played in Madison Square Garden multiple nights for this tour, and people were not aware that John Anderson wasn't going to be there. But it's actually a really good record. It's pretty much the only Yes album I have without John Anderson. It's worthy, in my opinion, of being in the collection. I'm still sick, as you could hear, so bear with me. First compilation, we got Classic Yes. Pretty basic collection right there. And then you got 90125, huge album. This is now the Trevor Rabin years, remastered with bonus tracks. Fine record, although I never listened to it. I never listened to this one either, Big Generator, which was the follow-up. It's got a couple of great songs on it. Then you got the split. So I put Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe. I do put these guys in Yes, as opposed to Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe. Here is the box set. We're up to this one. Let me show you. Oh, who is this band? This is what I call an Easter egg. I do listen to everybody. A couple of people said you got to get into a certain band that was not in my letter S. I did. Stay tuned for future videos. Anyway, here is Yes Years, the 4 CD box set. And of its time, this was really, really state-of-the-art. Nice big booklet. And the whole history of Yes up to that point. And this was a huge, beautiful box set. 4 fully loaded discs. Looks like that inside. And got that out of time. And it was a pleasure to have. Yes, years. They also did a smart marketing thing. They put out a version of it on 2 discs called Yes Story. Right there. So I got both, depending on my mood. Here's another best of highlights, the very best of. Yes, this is a really good collection, by the way. And this has some other deeper stuff in there. Trevor Rabin's back, and they do Talk. And this is actually my favorite of the Yes albums with Trevor Rabin. I think it's a really good, strong album, and unfortunately completely overlooked and gets no respect, but I thought it's really good. Here's a bootleg from that tour called Endless Dream. And I really liked that album, and it was a really interesting tour. And then the flip side is Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe. I have this DVD, and it's also an evening of Yes Music Plus, and it was a great show. And there it is on CD. Yes, reforms again. Boy, you need a book to keep track of all of this. Keys to Ascension. They reformed. They put out another DVD, which I have, and here's the soundtrack on CD of this great show. You can see the track listing, but they give you 2 new studio tracks, and this is the original band Reform. They sounded great. That was good enough that they put a second version out, Keys to Ascension 2, which had more live stuff from that same show at San Luis Obispo. But now you get a whole second disc of unreleased new songs, some of them pretty extensive too. Good stuff. New studio record called The Ladder. I actually thought this was a strong one. This is one of the better latter-day Yes albums. Here's a bootleg, which I got, and this is called Yes Sessions. And this is what bootlegs are all about when they're really good. 3 discs of unreleased live stuff and unreleased studio recordings and before Yes, and really, really well done. And this is a real bootleg, pressed, and even came with a booklet explaining all the tracks. Good stuff. Here's a live one. After The Ladder, they did Live from the House of Blues. This is also a DVD. But here is the 2 CD live record. Magnification. This is going to be the last studio record I've ever gotten from Yes. I did buy some of the latter-day ones after John Anderson. I dumped them. They were just not for me. This is an interesting album because it was done with the symphony. In the Presence Of is one of the all-time great Yes songs. Another compilation, the 35th anniversary of Yes, called The Ultimate Yes. And it opens up like this. And it's what you expect. 2 discs of classics and a couple of bonus stuff on track 3, including an acoustic version of South Side of the Sky. And then I got from the original Yes Songs tour, here is Progeny Highlights from 72. They had released a box set of complete live shows, and this is the highlights of it. And it's good. It's kind of like Yes Songs, but rawer. Good stuff. Last but not least, I have not shown you DVDs. I have hundreds of music DVDs and Laserdiscs, but I should have shown you some of them that come with CDs like this one. Symphonic Live is a DVD and CD collector's edition, and the reason why it is so cool, because this is kind of rare, this is from that Magnification tour, and it's Yes playing with an orchestra, so it's pretty good, pretty cool. Alrighty, there is Yes, and Yes came in with 36 albums. That's a lot, but it's not my number one as far as quantity goes. Next up, we got Pete Yorn. I only got one, and this is a great album, Music for the Morning After. It's the only Pete Yorn I have. I think it's a really strong record, and this is a 2-disc special edition that's got bonus stuff on it. I did pick up the albums he did after this, 2 of them, but I just didn't think they were that great, and I decided just to keep that one. So next up is the number one as far as quantity goes, and that is Neil Young. Neil Young, I have 42 albums. Let's get cracking. Okay, we start with the debut right there. And I don't want to take too long. These are classics for sure. You know all of these. Everybody knows this is Nowhere. The first one I ever had after the Gold Rush. Featured the great Nils Lofgren on piano. Neil Young doesn't get any better than that. Comes closer with this one, Harvest, another equally amazing record, and I guess his biggest selling record. Here's Time Fades Away. This is one that I actually got just a couple of years ago, and a really nice version on CD. Great stuff, obviously. On the beach, off the beach, on the beach, on the beach. What am I talking about? On the beach, right there. And Tonight's the Night. And Zuma with Crazy Horse, classic. I remember when this one came out, American Stars and Bars, and this was pretty successful in its time. This is the one that had Like a Hurricane, one of my all-time favorites. The one that a lot of people of my age group got when it first came out was this, Decade. A revolutionary album at the time because it was a 3-record set. Here it is on 2 CDs. But at that time, a 3-record set was not an everyday occurrence. And this is still perhaps the best compilation of Neil Young. Disc 1 and Disc 2 right there. The classic Decade. One of my favorite albums of 1978 was Comes a Time. I thought this album was incredible. And then he went on tour the following year for Rust Never Sleeps, and I saw that show, Nassau Coliseum. And then he put out the live one, Live Rust, and the movie Rust Never Sleeps. And I could relive that great concert I was at. Hawks and Doves, kind of an overlooked one, but it's a fine, fine record, I think. And then he gets into that weird Geffen time period when he got sued by Geffen. Everybody's Rockin', a short one, it's like a half hour long, but it's not terrible. Neither is this one called Old Ways. Remember, Neil got sued because he was putting out albums that weren't commercial, but it's not bad stuff. One of my favorite Neil Young albums, it was a top 3 album of the year for me, was Freedom. Man, this is an amazing record. Love this one. Here's a bootleg from around that time period called Amsterdam 89. Neil was really, really cooking then. Then he did Ragged Glory, another excellent record with Crazy Horse. Not quite at the level of Freedom, but pretty close. He did Weld, which was a double live CD. There's disc 1. And there is disc 2. If you're really observant, you know it originally came out as Arc Weld. Arc was the 3rd CD, which was just noise. Didn't keep that one. Here is a bootleg called This Note's For You. An interesting time period. And this is a bootleg that's done really, really well. From an interesting time in Neil's career. Really good bootleg. Harvest Moon, another one of the all-time great Neil Young albums. I guess his sequel to Harvest, he did not disappoint. Unplugged. Well, he'd been unplugged since the beginning, and he joined MTV Unplugged and did a 5 performance, which I have on Laserdisc. From the Geffen years, he did put out Lucky 13, which is a compilation of a lot of the more interesting stuff from Geffen, and this even has some new stuff there. And it was an interesting compilation, and it works. So it was a different time for Neil. Sleeps with Angels. I thought that was all right. Little bit mixed bag. Neil is not short of any live records. Here is Road Rock, Friends and Relatives. A lot of jamming. Are You Passionate? Another studio record. He is hard to keep up with. He is so prolific. Neil Young's greatest hits, a really good single disc collection. Not that I listen to it much. Some of his latter-day stuff I pick up, some of it I don't. He's just too prolific for me. But Prairie Wind is an interesting one, and this is a deluxe edition with a DVD. It's a good one, actually. This was a really good one, I thought. Living with War, a really fine latter-day studio record. And, of course, he did that Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young tour at that time. Here is Chrome Dreams 2. This is actually in my backlog. And then we get some of the archive stuff, which is still, he's trying to, sort of doing like what Bob Dylan does. Not quite at the same level, I don't think, but he never stopped putting stuff out. Massey Hall in 1971. And some of these are really cool because you get not just the CD, but the DVD of the show from his archives. Here's another one, live at Canterbury House in 1968. Really going early. And again, you get the CD. I think there's a DVD in here as well. And really cool set list, as you can see. This was an archive one that surprised me how great it was. And this is Neil Young and the International Harvesters. It's called The Treasure. And this was one of the biggest albums of the year for me. Really, really excellent one if you ever find this. There's a bootleg called The Bernstein Tapes, a collection of live acoustic recordings from 1976. This is a bootleg from before Neil releasing this stuff. Now Neil has been releasing this stuff. But this is a really great bootleg. You get it all on one disc, and it's terrific. Another excellent one is Homegrown, which was going to be an officially released album, and Neil pulled it. I think he released American Stars and Bars instead. But this is the Homegrown album. It's really good. Here's Neil Young live at Carnegie Hall in 1970. This was a bootleg that Neil officially released on 2 discs. It's really good. And here's one I just picked up this weekend. Haven't heard it yet. Somewhere Under the Rainbow. Neil Young, November 5th, 1973. And looks like that. And it looks like that. And it's a 2-disc set. And it says $10, but it was half price, so I paid $5 for this at a record show this weekend. And the last Neil Young, well, second to last, is this one, Neil Young and Crazy Horse Barn. This is the last studio record I've picked up from Neil. Again, I can't keep up. I thought it was okay. Nils Lofgren was back in it. They recorded it in his barn. And it's pretty good, but I don't think it's great. A lot of people thought it was great. And this is an original vinyl bootleg from back in the day, on colored vinyl, no less. Neil Young with Crazy Horse on Wizardo Records. I know sometimes people get a kick out of my bootleg vinyl and CDs, so there you have it. Okay, let's keep going as we continue. One from the Youngbloods. This is All I Need. Get Together. The Essential Youngbloods, of course, Get Together. They're really, really big song. And one of the all-time great rock songs of all time. Okay. I know there are a bunch of Frank Zappa fans out there. I am a Frank Zappa fan to an extent. I have 19 Frank Zappa albums. 19. That's pretty good. But I am a novice when it compares to a lot of the people watching this channel. I've read 2 books on Frank Zappa, and he's just a lifetime commitment. So I'm working on him. The Mothers of Invention, Freak Out, right there. Hot Rats. That's one that I go to, kind of all instrumental. Hot Rats I really like. Weasels Rip My Flesh. I actually just got this one this year or last year. So this is a recent one for me. And this is Overnight Sensation. Right there. A lot of different versions of Zappa out there. Here's Apostrophe. Right there. Don't need the Yellow Snow. Roxy and Elsewhere, great live one. Right there. And back with the Mothers, One Size Fits All. That great artwork. So these are all classics that I'm showing you. Here is Zoot Allures. Got that one. And Zappa in New York, another great live one. And this is a 2 CD set, of course. Now, he's released deluxe editions of a lot of these. When I was in high school, this was a big one. Shake Your Booty. Shake Your Booty right there. And that was big when I was in high school. And this was pretty big, too. Joe's Garage. It was Acts 1 and 2 and 3. And this is the collection where it's got all 3 of them on one package. Makes my life a lot easier. But I remember this when I was in high school. And this one is You Are What You Is. And a bootleg Saarbrücken 1978. Yeah, I even got some boots from Frank Zappa. He, of course, put out a lot of the bootlegs so he can get the money. Beat the Boots, he called it. Here's You Can't Do That on Stage. This is volume 6, a 2 CD set. But he's got a lot of these. Obviously, this is the 6th one. Strictly Commercial. It's exactly what it is. A nice compilation of 19 songs of his more easier listening commercial type stuff. Leather. And Neil just fell. This is a 3-disc version of this album. Not the easiest thing to get through, at least in one listening, but I've had it for years and still working on them. Have I Offended Someone? A really good compilation of some of his maybe more offensive stuff, let's just say. And Strictly Gentile, good compilation of his orchestral stuff. Of course, Frank, one of the few people who could actually notate and write music. And then Cheap Thrills, a good cheap compilation of Frank Zappa. I think that's a pretty good Zappa collection for somebody who's not like the world's biggest Zappa fan, but is open-minded and still getting into him. What I got? 19 Zappa albums. Okay, we're getting closer to the end of Z. And next up is that great Long Island band, at least according to David Kunsley. Now, he's right. They actually started in New Orleans, but they did make it in Long Island. And they are one of the prized possessions of Long Island rock, Zebra. And one of the greatest debut albums of all time, one of my all-time favorite debut albums, is the Zebra album. And this is the one to get if you want to check them out. If you like Led Zeppelin, you'll like Zebra. Here is No Telling Lies, their second album. Pretty good, but not as good as the first one. None of them are as good as the first one. Here's Japanese edition of No Telling Lies. And then they took a long time to release their third album, so they called it 3.5. And it was pretty good. And then Zebra Live. They were on Atlantic Records. And here's a good live album. Right there. And they even have a best of called The Best of Zebra in black and white. And this is a good one because it's got deep stuff, including unreleased stuff and demos from before their first album. This is a good one. They even made a King Biscuit Flower Hour live record. And there it is right there. And they finally released another one called Zebra 4. And it looked like that. So when it got Arabian Nights, fine record. But again, if you want to get into Zebra, the debut is the one to get. Okay, Warren Zevon. Here is the deluxe edition of the Warren Zevon album. And 2 CD edition. I used to have the single one remastered, but now it's this one, deluxe edition, with a bunch of bonus tracks, a classic. As is Excitable Boy, one of the great albums of all time, loaded with bonus tracks. The live one, Stand in the Fire, again remastered with bonus tracks. These are the way to go. Learning to Flinch, right there, playing the 12-string. Excellent. And the best of all is this guy, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, an anthology. And this is like that Yardbirds one. It's a 2 CD set, kind of a mini box. And this covers the Asylum years, the Virgin years, the Giant years. And comes with a really good booklet as well. You want to get into Warren Zevon, this is the one to get. Lyrics, annotation on each song. Fantastic. But if that's too much for you, you could always get the Best of Warren Zevon Genius, a wonderful single disc edition. Who's the last in the catalog? Somebody guessed it, ZZ Top. Well, we got ZZ Top's first album. And we got Rio Grande Mud. And we got Tres Hombres, a great opening, triple opening of 3 great albums with bonus tracks right there. You got Fandango, a really interesting one, half live and half studio, and this one's got bonus tracks. Degüello, this was one, I think I was in high school also. This was a really big album at the time. Thank You and Nation and Bad Nationwide. Sunglasses, great stuff. And then I got 2 collections, The Greatest Hits, which looks like that. And then you can go deeper with the very best of ZZ Top, Rancho Texicano, right there, an excellent 2 CD collection, ZZ Top. I'm a fan, but I don't need more than that from ZZ Top. A couple of things I forgot, which you could see in the background, is yes, we did Yes Year's box set. There's a couple of other ones. This is a really comprehensive box called In a Word. And this is a whopping 5 discs. So this came out after Yes Year's back there. And this really covers their whole career. And even though it's like a smaller size box, they really did a great job. They really went to town on this. You got 2 discs, 4 discs, stickers, and the book is huge. It's so huge. Can I even take it out? I am going to show it to you. Looks like this, and it is magnificent. So if you want to get a Yes box, this is the one to get. This definitely supersedes that Yes Years, which was great in its time. But in a word, this is the one to get if you can still find it out there. There's another Yes one they put out. This one I would stay away from. It's called The Word Is Live, and this is the size of those Jethro Tull boxes. This one is 3 discs, and it's all live stuff, but a lot of it is not of great quality. I remember thinking it's almost like bootlegish. So, yeah, it was a good idea. It's a real box. I mean, the booklet's amazing, very involved, as you could see. The text. So you got to be a really big Yes fan to need this. This is all just live stuff that was pretty much unreleased before. And the last one we're going to show you is the Zombies. Zombie Heaven. This is a great box set, and a lot of people are out there saying, that's all you got from the Zombies? Yeah, it is. This is 4 discs, and this box set is everything. You know, they didn't have a big discography. It's got the whole Odyssey and Oracle album on here, plus the Lost album and the BBC, and their singles, and all of their stuff is in here. If you want to get into Zombies and you want to get everything, this is all you need, guys. And look at this glossy. You can see in the reflection that this is super duper glossy, really small print. I got to wear David Kunsley's glasses that he sent to me because it's so small. But this really goes through their whole career, and this is all you need from the Zombies. And that is all you need from the Alan Rosenberg Show, A to Z. We did it. 5,800 albums, give or take. Now, some people said continue because I do have compilation albums. I have like various artist compilation albums, thematic compilations that came out, and I also have soundtracks. So let me know if you want me to continue and do like 2 or maybe 3 more videos, or just end it with A to Z. But I think maybe we did so many, maybe we should just do the soundtracks on the various artists. Let me know your thoughts. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Let me know your thoughts anyway on what I got, what I'm missing. Thank you for watching this unbelievable undertaking. 5,800 albums I've showed you pretty much. Been exhausting, but been kind of fun. I will see you next time on Alan Rosenberg Show. If you're new to my channel, hit subscribe. Check out playlists. There is over 500 videos there to discover. All right, I'll see you around.